What up YouTube? Today I am back with some more All Out War content. This time I'm going to cover some changes that I want to see before a second season of this event. I'll rank them as sort of what I think needs to change and what should change. Up first is matchmaking. There's been a lot of complaints about unfair matchups in the Discord and generally just in the game chat and in my All Out War event at the very least. And I think the main reason for that is the personal score rankings that they use in order to rank alliances. I don't think that, as they stand, they're a great metric for measuring fighting power. The biggest problem with them is that they scale too linearly as you unlock more stuff. Like, I'm here at 187,000, whereas the strongest guy in the kingdom, not from my alliance, is at 123,000. And then they've got another guy at 114,000. Are the two of them combined supposed to make up and contribute as much as I can? Because I can tell you for a fact that they do not. I could easily fight both of them and probably not lose more than 10,000 tier 1s. So I think that the way that they rank your abilities in this screen here, they need to change to be more exponential as you get closer to maxed out, because the impact that they have on your fighting ability is exponential. Everyone sitting at around, 50% refinement or whatever, they're not going to stand a chance. You throw 10 of them against a maxed out account, they're not going to be able to stand a chance, but that maxed out account might only have as many points as 2 or 3 of them combined. And that really becomes apparent when you look at alliances like XKD here. They're 15 billion power, they've only got 42 members, so then their score added up is about equal to the other alliances in the event. The problem is that one player at 200,000 is not equivalent to 2 players at 100,000. So they need to change the way this scales somehow to actually account for the individual strength of players. Another tweak that they need to make to matchmaking is doing a better job at making sure that there will be an even number of teams, alliances on each team. Because as it stands, there were plenty of matches where the number of alliances in the match was one more than a multiple of 8, and the way this ended up balancing out was a lot of teams would end up with one alliance. And the people choosing to join teams, it wouldn't make sense to choose to join them. This is a self-fulfilling loop here because of the fact that there's this mismatch. Alliances are very much incentivized to join the teams that already have a bunch of alliances in them, rather than joining the ones with only the leader in it. The next tweak I think that needs to be made is to healing. As it stands, the healing is ludicrously expensive, and pretty much no one is going to choose to heal their troops in this event. Either the healing cost needs to come way, way down, or another thing they could do is tweak the rewards that give the healing speed ups to instead either give some token that lets you also cover the resource cost of healing troops, or perhaps they could just give you more troops directly rather than telling you to heal the ones that are already in the hospital. If these rewards were giving you, say, an extra 100,000 troops every time you got one of these, rather than speed ups that you then have to cover the resource cost with by yourself, it would effectively be the same thing as them covering the resource cost. Now, those are things which I think need to change. There are also some things that I think should change, but haven't been all that problematic this season, but could potentially be. Up first is the lack of restriction on the number of times you can declare war. There's no bugles or anything like that that we have in Glorious Battle. So what this means is that if we are wanting to just annoy Justice here for completely dominating the event, then we are totally able to simply declare war on every single one of their cities that we can border every single time the 10-hour cooldown is up, and everyone on the map can do the same thing. And they would have to send troops to defend this, because if they don't, by the time they notice that we're actually attacking, it will be far too late for them to mount a proper defense. Obviously, Justice is an extreme example here because, they own the entire map. But, even if it was just a normal faction, they would still probably have 3, 4, 5 cities that border various neighbours, and they are still vulnerable to all of them being attacked at once, and they have to somehow be able to react very quickly to which of those is going to be attacked. Because, a proper attack can easily take a city in 5-10 minutes, and you can be looking at longer than that in marching time if you're, spread across a decent sized area. And this is even more problematic if that's from multiple factions, because then there could well be two different places you're trying to defend at once. Obviously, this is part of the strategic element of the game, but I don't think there should be able to just be frivolous war declarations without there being some limit on that, i.e. bugles that we've got in Glorious Battle. And I think that introducing bugles could also help to add some strategic depth to the event, because they would let you make construction better. As it stands, all it does is increase durability. So for plenty of cities, it's completely pointless, and even on the ones where they are actually bordering someone, it's still usually not going to be a big difference maker. So instead, they could tweak it so that, for example, upgrading the municipal centre gives a bonus based upon the type of city it is. So the main fort can give extra bugles like it would in Glorious Battle. Military cities could give extra bugles. Industrial cities could either increase the number of spots in the resource nodes or make them gather faster. Blessing cities could increase their bonuses. You know, there's plenty of things that you can tweak to make this work, and then you can also add upgrades to the buildings in the actual cities themselves. Like the archer towers could have increased range rather than just increased durability. Upgrading the armory could make chariots cheaper or make them build faster, perhaps add some passive build speed to all chariots without needing people to be working them. Upgrading the barracks could let you deploy troops for cheaper, or perhaps give a passive buff to army size. You know, stuff like that. There's plenty of tweaks that could be made to make constructions actually relevant rather than just, here's some extra durability. Durability that will be lost if you ever lose the city. Another tweak that I think would be nice to see is the ability to queue up instructions. As it stands, as soon as you finish building one chariot in the armory, everyone's just stood here outside doing nothing. If you can instead either join the queue to just keep producing whatever's in the armory queue, or perhaps with resource gathering, you could say, hey, once I've finished gathering resources, go back and fill this node again. Basically anything to make the game less intensive for those who are not that interested in the event. There are plenty of people who think that this event is just beyond the scope of why they play GoTWiC. They're here for some fun, idle strategy game, whereas this is a fairly intensive RTS. And I think that is fair enough, but adding some quality of life features so they can help out more without it being a chore for them would be a really great change. And the final tweak is something that I think would just be a nice quality of life change. As it stands, the gates into each faction's main area can only be attacked by that faction. I think this should be changed. Now, I understand why they changed this from Pioneer. It was so you couldn't take the gate and then rush in and take, you know, their own industrial bases and attack troops that are just standing around in the main fortress using your eagle eyes. That is positive, that's a good thing. I wish they'd accomplished it a different way. Rather than forbidding us from attacking the gates, let us attack the gates and do what they've done in Siege of Winterfell, where there is an area that only your faction can enter. I think that would be a better change, because it would mean that we still have to only defend the gate here, rather than also trying to defend these villages from Pink, which they can just, you know, come and annoy us with every couple of days. So I think letting us take the gate and just defend that, and still not letting us push out of the gate into their area, would be a much better way to handle that. But that is about everything I have for you today. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've got any changes that you would like to see in the event that I've not brought up, or if you disagree with any of the changes I've suggested, and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys for watching, and I will be back on Sunday or Monday with a KVK video.